Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 16th of June. The first news is Cabinet approve auction for 5G spectrum. Second, India attended virtual BRICS security meeting. Third, nursing degree with aid on Ayurveda suit. Fourth, China reasserts support for Russia on security issues. And the last is an editorial that in Sri Lanka crisis, a window of economic opportunity. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. The first news of the day, that is Cabinet approve auction of 5G spectrum, something important for General Studies paper 3, achievement of India in science and technology, Indianizations of technology, and developing of new technology. And even this is important for General Studies paper 2, where government policies and intervention are concerned. So recently the Union Cabinet has approved a proposal by the Department of Telecommunications to conduct a 5G spectrum auction. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है, उन्होंने खास करके जो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस की जो रिक्वेस्ट थी, जो प्रपोजल थी फॉर कंडक्टिंग अ 5G स्पेक्ट्रम ऑक्शन, दैट वाज फाइनली अप्रूव्ड. The spectrum will be assigned to a successful bidder by providing 5G services to public and enterprises, right? So this 5G service will ensure that the services is being adequately distributed among the citizen of this country and some private entity or enterprises that is willing forward to use this. The cabinet has approved 5G auctions at the reverse price recommendations, which was set by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, which is also known as TERI. And even the TERI has earlier recommended about 39% reduction in the reserve or the floor price for the sale of 5G spectrum for the mobile services. So these are some of the basic facts that you must know. Now about the auction process, how this is going to be completed. A total of 72,097.857 megahertz of spectrum, which has a validity of 20 years, would be put in auctions that to be held in the month of July. So if it is being asked in examination, what is the duration? The duration is for 20 years and the process will start very soon by the next month. The auction will be held for the spectrum in various low megahertz and high megahertz. तो 600 से लेकर के 2300 megahertz तक की variations रहेगी, and even for the high it is 26 gigahertz also. So these are the variations of the spectrum. I'm not getting into the detail of this because this would again not be that relevant for your examination, but आपको एक basic framework पता होना चाहिए that how does it work and how does the spectrum process go. So what you need to do, आप spectrum से related जो science and technology के portions हैं उसको भी थोड़ा check कर सकते हैं. The auction will be held basically for the spectrum in the various categories of low, medium and high frequency bands. Now duration and charges, as I've told you that this would be for 20 years. The spectrum acquired through these auctions can be surrendered after a minimum period of 10 years, and successful bidder would be allowed to make payment in 20 equal installments, duly protecting the net present value at the interest rate of 7.2%. There will be no spectrum usage charges for the spectrum acquired for these auctions. And DOT has initiated the spectrum auctions and notice inviting applications that has been issued on 15th June 2022. That is for this year. Now, high-speed services will be provided to all the citizens who will be using 5G services, because 5G itself called for a high-speed internet, right? So it is expected that the spectrum will be utilized by the telecom service provider to roll out 5G technology-based services that is capable of providing high-speed and capable internet, would be about 10 times than the current 4G services. So looking into the speed band, how the variation is there. So earlier when first G was launched in way back 1979, The speed was basically to ensure that only voice or something there, no maximum speed was prescribed at this point of time. Now, during 1991, this was a time when India has witnessed globalizations. इस टाइम में 2G सर्विसेज लॉन्च की गई और जो मैक्सिमम स्पीड रखी गई थी दैट इज 14.4 kbps, राइट. आफ्टर दैट इन 2000 2.5G सर्विसेज विद 53.6 kbps. 2001 में 3G की सर्विसेज लॉन्च हुई जहाँ पे 384 kbps की स्पीड्स दी जाती थी. आफ्टर दैट the 4G services was launched, which was like 100 Mbps, and now for some countries they're also using 5G, that is for 1 Gbps. And even for some country has already started, like country like Germany, they have also started with the 6G services, right? So in India, for initial period we'll be looking forward with 5G services. Uske baad gradually the generation would move. G stand here for generation. I think these are some of the basics that every one of you must be aware of. Now, private captive network, the cabinet has decided to enable the development and setting up of private captive network to spur the new wave of innovation in the industry, that is 4.0 applications such as machine to machine communications, internet of thing, artificial intelligence across automotive, healthcare, agriculture, energy, and other sectors. So these are some of the broad areas upon which the enabling services of 5G would endeavors to provide a high quality services. Now, the other news, India attended virtual BRICS security meeting, something important for General Studies paper 2, bilateral regional grouping and agreement, evolving India's and affecting India's interest. The National Security Advisor of India, Mr. Ajit Doval, has recently attended a virtual BRICS summit meeting which was hosted by Chinese NSA, National Security Advisor. The main aim of this meeting was to strengthen the political and security cooperations between the five nations. BRIC is a country which has five important members, which include Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And even recently, China has pitched for BRICS Plus. BRICS Plus की बात की गई है. And if BRICS Plus is their information, you can expect a question in mains examination. Although you can expect this question in this time mains only, because if the multilateral forum like BRICS has been pitched for Plus, a question can be definitely framed, right? And those of you who are specifically having PSIR as an optional, you definitely need to just generate or create optional, basically options that a possible question can be framed. Now, he said that there's a need to have an urgent reform for the multilateral system to address the global issues of credibility, equality, and accountability. The NSA has also stressed that the challenges of pandemic and climate change still continue, and the cooperation will there between all the members countries. Now, BRICS Summit 2022, the virtual summit is expected to start soon by next year, and Prime Minister, that is from India, Prime Minister would be the taken by Russia के जो president होंगे, Chinese president, and South Africa's president and Brazil president would be taking part, and this would be face-to-face summit which will be held virtually, right? So the time is from June 23 to 24. The theme for this year BRICS Summit, this is again very important, that is foster high quality BRICS partnership, usher in the new era for global development. This can be an important question for many other competitive examination. Definitely UPSC will not ask this question, but बहुत सारे ऐसे competitive examination है जहाँ पे इस तरह के सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. Russia and Ukraine conflict, the ongoing Russian Ukraine war will be one of the top issues that will be discussed in this meeting with all BRICS leaders, and the conflict has started in February only. This will be the first BRICS summit after the Russia's invasion to Ukraine and will be watched closely by discussions between the important leaders, that is the 5 member country as of now. So कौन-कौन से 5 members हैं मैंने आपको बता दिया. First is Russia, followed by China, India, Brazil, and South Africa. So this together comprises an important multilateral forum of BRICS. Now, if you look into these countries, they together comprises of 42% of the world population, 26% of the land territory, and 27% of the world GDP. अगर आप इस तरह का factual information याद कर सकते हैं, and even you can reproduce in mains examination, it will be brilliant for you, right? So make sure कुछ ऐसे facts हैं जो आप जरूर याद करें. Now, nursing degree with add-on Ayurveda soon, something important for General Studies paper 2. issues related to development and management of education and human resources. So India is all set to unveil its first integrated Ayurveda nursing degree, which is on allopathy or conventional nursing program. It is an effort that will offer best of integrated medicine benefits to the patients. और आयुर्वेदिक components की बात करें, this will be an year-long old training capsule with a specific subject and hand-on training. So definitely at this time, at this juncture where India is already facing healthcare crisis and the COVID-19 haven't taught a lesson, this would be very important to giving an add-on experience to the medical practitioners. Nursing care was one of the four important pillars of the healthcare, and this was an integrated knowledge for both therapies as well. At this point of time, it would be an asset also. The idea is to provide holistic and rigorous medical care for the patients. India currently offers Ayurvedic nursing. Those who have finished class 12 with science subject can opt for Ayurveda and even go for the MBBS degree. Now, approval is awaiting. The proposal that was set by the Nursing Council of India is expected to become reality by this year end. This is what is expected. And the syllabus has been created by All India Institute of Ayurveda. This is a apex territory centers in Ayurveda in our country. The syllabus has been prepared by the top professional, both in allopathics as well in Ayurveda field, that will intake both nursing graduate as well as have to finish the allopathic training, right? So this would be a kind of dual degree, you can say, that is being held in mostly in the IITs. तो उस तरह की आप dual degrees के जैसे भी कर सकते हैं, but two courses would be combined, right? And two knowledge would be imparted to students. The syllabus has been submitted in the Nursing Council that has been proposed by 80:20 ratio in practical and theory basis. So 80% would be on a practical and 20% would be on theory basis. The draft syllabus was now undergoing the approval process, and it is expected that by year end a curriculum would be placed. Now, China reasserts support for Russia on security issues, something important for General Studies paper 2 in mains, that is issues of politics and politics for developed and developing countries. So the Chinese president has reasserted that he will support Russia on the issues of sovereignty and security. And China said that all parties should responsibly push for a proper settlement of Ukraine and Russia crisis. China has refused to criticize Russia's invasion to Ukraine. Even India was not vocal. India की बहुत सारी ऐसी एग्रीमेंट है, चाहे वो कुंदकुलम न्यूक्लियर प्लांट्स हो या रशिया की तरफ से जितनी भी आर्म्स की सप्लाई हो. So India was even not in a position to criticize Russia's effort to what was done in the Ukraine. उसी तरह से चाइना ने भी क्रिटिसाइज नहीं किया है. एंड इवन वाइल एक्यूजिंग नाटो द वेस्ट प्रोवोक मॉस्को इनटू अटैकिंग. जिस तरह से नाटो की एक्सपेंशन की बात की गई थी, दैट वाज मोस्टली द ईस्टवर्ड एक्सपेंशन दैट हैज प्रोवोक्ड रशिया टू टेक सच डिसीजन. दिस इज व्हाट द काउंटर्स people, or you can say the favorite people, are saying in this regard. But again, the opposition people are of the opinion that Russia never wanted an expansion on that side, right? So ये कुछ important geopolitical figures है. I'm not getting into the detail of that part, but for time being आपको ये सारी basic चीजें पता होनी चाहिए. China's Russia relations की अगर बात करें, week before Russia's attack Ukraine, the Russian president meet Chinese president in Beijing in February, and they have oversawn an agreement where they have looked forward for no limit and the basically infinite, or you can say a relationship which has no limit, would be proceeded further. In that meeting, the two leaders pushed against the US pressures, declaring their oppositions to any expansions of NATO. And even the island of Taiwan is a part of China. This is what China has been claiming for a long period of time. Now, China is willing to work with Russia's side to promote a steady and long-term development, bilateral, pragmatic cooperations. And even China's Russia has increased alignment for the foreign policies to oppose a liberal democratic forces in Asia, Europe, and beyond, making a stand for authorizations rule, which will tight borders, little regard for free speech, minorities, right, or opposition politics, right? So this is how things will move ahead. But in China, basically the government is trying to curb all the free speeches, and even they do not allow anyone to criticize the government. Now, editorial of the day, that is in Sri Lanka crisis, a window of economic opportunity, important for General Studies paper 2, India and its neighborhood relations. So under this editorial, I'll be discussing four important subheads. But before that, the entire editorial focuses upon India and Sri Lanka relations. First, I'll be looking into the background of that, aid from India, historical baggage, and the vast potential. So the present economic crisis in Sri Lanka has pushed it closer to India for immediate relief, and definitely Sri Lanka was vocal about the part of assistance that they required, and India has given a proactive immediate measures. बहुत सारे ऐसे सपोर्ट्स हैं जो इंडिया ने किए, बट अगेन बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो वहाँ भी अभी इंडिया के सपोर्ट से इत्तेफाक नहीं रखते हैं, एंड इवन दे से दैट वी आर नॉट इन फेवर दैट इंडिया शुड बी सपोर्टिंग श्रीलंका. See, there are every counters of people that are coming, but to more or less government has always been vocal और government ने support भी मांगा है इंडिया से. In last few months, India's media's regular coverage of the crisis has led to the better understanding and even created a sense of empathy in India about a plenty of the neighboring countries. This was the worst economic crisis that Sri Lanka has seen since its independence. Now, as a neighborhood first policy, India has extended a support to Sri Lanka people, aid to close almost 3.5 billion that helped to secure food crisis, health crisis, energy security by providing essential item that is food, medical medicines, fuels and kerosene. तो neighborhood policies पे भी आप एक क्वेश्चंस मेंस में एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. Aid from India, the latest in the series was signing the agreement between the government of Sri Lanka and Export Import Bank of India, जिसको Exim Bank भी कहते हैं. They have come up with the 55 million of short line credit to facilitate the procurement of urea on the ongoing ELA season. ये इस टाइम पे सीजन है श्रीलंका में जहाँ पे बेसिकली क्रॉपिंग्स को शोनिंग की जाती है. और यूरिया की अगर बात करें, बहुत सारे ऐसे फर्टिलाइजर्स थे जिन्होंने चाइना से इंपोर्ट किया था, बट दैट फर्टिलाइजर वाज नॉट ऑफ गुड क्वालिटी एंड इवन इट हैज़ इम्पैक्टेड द सॉइल क्वालिटी ऑफ श्रीलंका. तो उन्होंने वापस उसको चाइना को वापस किया और उस रिटर्न में भी बहुत सारी कॉस्टिंग जो है वो श्रीलंका की आई. So this has completely distorted the way they were actually functioning, right? During discussion, the International Monetary Fund in the April has said that basically India's finance minister has given an assistance that the multilateral forum should be giving an emergency assistance to Sri Lanka. This is what India pitched in the multilateral forum also. And part of this, the state like Tamil Nadu has decided to provide an aid where it has provided 123 crore rupees, comprises of 40 ton of rice, 137 types of drugs, 500 tons of milk powders. Historical baggage, बात करें, if you go into the history, जिस तरह से basically its willingness to development of Sri Lanka, civil war के time में भी इस तरह की बातें थी that development should evolve and it should be there at the modest. Now for the previous government, that is the Rajapaksa regime, they have unilaterally scrapped the 2021 tripartite agreement that was signed in 2019, जहाँ पे इंडिया और जापान ने कोलंबो ईस्ट कंटेनर टर्मिनल की बनाने की बात की गई थी, एंड इवन द ऑफिशियल रीजन वाज साइटेड फॉर द अपोजिशन ऑफ द वर्क यूनियन. सो दिस वाज अगेन अ डिस्प्यूटेड वन, and if India has not moved ahead with this regard. Even India was later provided with the projects such as Western Corridor Terminal and Trichonmale Oil Farm, which coupled the renewable projects. Now, vast potential की अगर बात करें, there's an enormous scope of collaborations between India and Sri Lanka in area of infrastructure development. The economic crisis has revived talk of linking Sri Lanka electricity grid with that, and this is projected that of first point of interconnectivity, the India side will most likely to be there in the Tamil Nadu, and India has a cross-border trade with Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar, right? So India's interest would be to serve the developing of the east coast of Sri Lanka, especially in the Trichonmale Batikola belt, which could be a potential for tourism, trade, industries, and other well-known facts, right? So definitely India would be looking forward for a development which invariably will call for the development of Sri Lanka and even to benefit India to a larger extent. This is how any bilateral relationship between the countries go. No country would be in vain that they are not getting profit. So mutually benefit होनी चाहिए, mutual profits होनी चाहिए, और India will always look forward that a project should promote tourism, commerce, trade, and industries. So this is how the way forward can be concluded. Now moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is B. For second question also, the correct option is B. Today's MCQ for practice, sand is recently seen on news, is related to GI enabled tracking system of sand use. social security scheme for differently abled, instant messaging app by Government of India, and news of fertilizer developed in ICM and New Delhi. So do check it out for the correct options. Second, Security Appellate Tribunal is SAT is a statutory body established under the provision of SEBI Act, and the presiding officer of SAT shall be appointed by the President of India. So do check it out, which among the following is the correct option. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.